Hello, Tony Trungone, Superintendent Pemberton Township Schools here with a Inside Outlook update. We have three issues to address. First will be the Bazansky-Emmons parent parking lot. Second will be our plans for graduation for the current class of 2020 seniors. And third and last will be our return to school plans. So that being said, the Bazansky and Emmons parent parking lot, it's located on Scrapetown Road, and there's a lot in between the Emmons and Bazansky schools. That's where the parking lot will be. It'll be for parent parking. And so we ask, and so it'll have a retention basin. It'll have a parent parking lot. It'll have a sidewalk to Bazansky and a sidewalk to Emmons. And we ask why. Why build the parking lot? Well, since Bazansky's been built, it has 2 lanes of traffic, one for bus and one for cars. But if you look at the aerial view, you'll see that we keep the buses and cars from commingling, but it's not foolproof. People will pull up and then they'll let their child out, and then they walk, behind or in front of a bus, and we can't take that risk. Obviously, it's our most valuable commodity is our kids, and so we have to address this. So we want to make the loop in front of Bazansky the only for buses. Only for buses. And then parents could pick up and drop off their kids in the parent parking lot. And then for Emmons, right now the bus goes behind Emmons, and it is separated right now, but the parents park in front of Emmons on the dirt parking lot. They've been doing that for years. But when school lets out, and even when they arrive, parents, when they leave, they back up into Scrapetown Road, which is dangerous. And then also it creates a lot of congestion, so we want to eliminate that too. So the parent parking will be in that lot, and that's where parents will drop off and pick up their kids starting in the next school year. And the procedures for that will be communicated by the respective principals of the Bazansky and Emmons school. Next up is our plans for graduation for our 2020 seniors, and we hear you. We share your concerns, and we're going to recognize our seniors. So as you know, the governor is controlling the opening and closing of schools, and right now schools are closed to May 15th, and then we won't know until then if the governor will say close schools for the remainder of the year or open schools by a certain date. So we have to make plans for schools to be closed for the remainder of the year in regards to graduation. And so we're developing a plan that we're going to celebrate and recognize our seniors on June 17th. And I've seen parts of the plans. I'm excited about it. And so Mr. Joseph, the principal of the high school, will be communicating those details shortly to the families regarding graduation, and also the fact that we'll have updates. So rest assured, we're going to give you updates on what's happening with the graduation. And second of all, we're going to celebrate their accomplishments. And so that's going to happen in regard to some type of event for our seniors of class of 2020. And finally, returning to school. So I just have to mention this. I'm the treasurer for the State Superintendent Association. In 2 years, I'll be president. So what I do is I participate in monthly meetings with the Commissioner of Education because I'm a leader in the group. And so in this group that meets with the commissioner, it's called the Leadership for Educational Excellence. It's called the LEE group. And so we composed a letter to Governor Murphy, and the people that helped compose that letter are the president of the School Boards Association, the president of the Superintendent Association, the president of the Business Administrators Association, the president of the Teachers Association, the president of the PTA, and the president of the Principals and Supervisors Association. And in that letter to Governor Murphy, it says, please keep schools closed for the remainder of the year as we build plans for kids to come back in September and build that roadmap. So what does that roadmap look like, or a framework? And so there has to be governance. We have to have committees at a district level and a school level in regards to how that's going to be meted out. And so another facet of that would be the facilities. And even though we've done a great job at our facilities, keeping them clean and shiny and looking new, When somebody uses the bathroom, how are we going to clean it? Doorknobs have to be cleaned more frequently. Hand sanitizers have to be located in more locations now. A lot of different issues have to be addressed in regard to facilities. Wellness, we talk about one's physical health. So obviously we're going to address that, and the CDC and the County Board of Health, the Department of Health will give us guidance on the health part of our students and our staff. But there's also mental health, and so we're going to have to address that with our kids that have been away for weeks. So we're going to have to look at that facet also, the mental health as well as the physical health. And then school operations. How are we going to feed everybody? Kids can't eat with their mask on. If that's what the governor wants to do, have children wear masks, 3 and 4 year olds, 5-year-olds. So that'll be interesting to see what that looks like. But what does that look like in a cafeteria feeding kids? They have to be fed in their classrooms. So we have to build a plan for that. How are we going to transport them to school? What's the bus situation going to look like? So all these things are being, like I said, meted out with our folks in regard to a plan for reentry when we do open up school again. And instruction, we have to look at, we think we've done a great job. Our teachers have done a great job. You as the parents have done a great job working as a team to ensure that our kids are learning, but we can't assume that everybody had a robust experience. So we have to look at where those gaps are. So there's a lot of communication as far as an assessment in regard to what do we need to do to fill those gaps to get those kids up to a certain level for their reading level and their math level, but reading is really important. So what was missed? So we have to make sure that our instruction has to be tweaked because of this event. And then technology, obviously technology, I think we've done pretty well as far as transitioning into that particular platform of learning, but we have to look at this happens again. What's it going to look like if we have another event in the fall? We don't know that. So we have to make sure all systems are a go, and we have to, and then the biggest issue we're learning is access at home. So we have not as much as I thought, but we do have a great deal of students that don't have internet connectivity at home. So we have to address that. So that's what we're looking on. And then finally, in post-secondary, what are we doing about our seniors? So all the plans that go into them going into either college or career. So, and then what do the colleges look like if you hear the news about colleges being open? So there's a lot of plans with our guidance as far as our seniors and where they're going to go come the fall 2020. So you see where there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of projects going on. Our teachers are working as hard as they ever been, I think, but maybe not as hard as they ever been, but differently. And also the communication that's going on between teachers and parents that I think is at an all-time high. And so everyone should be commended for their efforts to date. I know that's being said a lot, but I can tell you that from my observation, we're looking to compare Pemberton to other school districts. We've done an outstanding job to date. It's been a truly team effort, and we got to keep up that effort until the remainder of the school year. So again, I just want to say thank you, stay safe, and stay tuned next week for another edition of Inside Outlook.